Welcome to the Made for More podcast, the podcast for high achievers who train hard, eat clean, and show up with consistency, but still aren't seeing the lean, defined physique they are working so hard for. I'm Sophie Greenslade, and I help driven women and men who are doing all the right things, but not getting the results they truly deserve. Here, I'll show you how to train with intent, fuel your body with purpose, and finally, most importantly, build the lean physique you've earned. But more than that, I'll help you to develop the mindset, the identity, and the resilience to stay in shape for life, no matter what life throws at you or your way. To me, a true transformation, it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good, having unstoppable energy, a sharp mind, and being able to show up as the best version of yourself in every single area of your life. I've lived the plateaus, the setbacks, and the frustration of doing everything right, but not having the physique to show for it. And through my own personal journey, I discovered my life's purpose to help high achievers cut through the noise and finally turn their efforts into real, lasting results, not just as a one-off achievement. I'm not the coach who will get you ripped in 12 weeks. I'll keep you in shape for life. So if you're ready to look like you actually train, stay lean year-round, and build the energy and confidence to dominate in every area of your life, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. In today's episode, I want to share my personal story and how I went from having zero confidence and feeling very stuck in my fitness journey to building a physique that I can now maintain year-round, staying lean year-round, a focused mindset, and a business that now helps others do the same. In this episode, I want to be super real and share my struggles, the breakthroughs that I've had, and the lessons that have led me to where I am today and the mission I have today. If you've ever felt like you're putting in the work, but you're not getting the results that you feel you deserve, this one is for you. So let's get into it. So my fitness journey started when I was 20. I was at university and I was always the odd one out. At the time, I was partying, drinking, super heavily into that. With my obsessive, addictive personality, I went down that road. Then I started to train, I started to see changes in my body, and I got hooked, I got obsessed, and I went all in with it and started to see really good results. Then I hit a massive plateau. Right? I was always trying to figure things out myself. I was researching, but I never had a coach. I was always trying to do it alone. And it got to the point then where I kind of shot myself in the foot because I started to restrict a little bit too much and I was stuck. I wasn't seeing any more progress. I wasn't building more muscle. I wasn't losing more body fat. And because I was getting super obsessive nutrition and restricting harder, I almost gave myself an eating disorder. Then I realized I needed help because I was obsessed with food. It was taking over my life. So I decided to invest in a coach. And honestly, when I invested in a coach, I saw, honestly, I kid you not, more results in 3 months than 3 years trying to figure it out alone. And the coach that I worked with at the time, he got me out of that hole. And I realized that I could eat so much more food year round and actually stay lean, and we got my body into the position where I could actually do that. And I was able to break through that plateau because I learned more knowledge. I was guided by someone from the outside, and yeah, I built my muscle, I lost my body fat, and I stepped on stage in 3 months. Then my obsessive personality took me one step further. And I decided, at the time I was becoming a coach and I was getting qualified as a PT, and I decided to go all in to compete. And in 3 months, I stepped on stage. And my reason behind this was because I thought, right, if I'm going to coach clients to lose body fat and get in shape, I'm going to achieve that times 10. I'm going to go deep here. I'm going to learn everything possible about training, about nutrition, and I put my body through absolute extremes. And I competed 6 times in 2 years and went absolutely all in. And sure, I was achieving more on the outside, right? I was beating every single look, the previous competition. I was leveling up. I was working with different coaches. I was learning more about training, nutrition. And on the outside, I was leveling up and I was getting compliments. You look amazing. You've got so much discipline. However, on the insides, over time, I started to realize that I actually felt pretty empty. I actually didn't really feel that happy in my life. Why? Looking back, because I realized that I pretty much shut off every single other area of my life. I completely kind of abandoned family and relationships and a social life. All I cared about was my training, my nutrition, how I looked, my cardio, 2 hours of training per day, meal prepping. That's literally all I cared about. And then I decided, right, I'm going to challenge myself here. I've always been someone from a very young age that loves a challenge. I always did sports. I was always leveling up in something that I put my mind to. So after competing for many years, back-to-back competitions, going all in with it, I then moved to Dubai 6 years ago in 2019. And I thought, right, do you know what? I am going to set myself the challenge here of, yes, building my business, my PT business from scratch in Dubai, which I'll cover in a different episode, but also trying to actually set myself the challenge of, right, okay, I've got into epic shape, but without having a life. Can I actually now get in epic shape, stay in epic shape year round, and actually have a life and actually have a social life? So I set myself that mission. And many years on, it's been 6 years since that moment, and it's not been easy. And I've had many setbacks, and it's been challenging to step away from your identity being wrapped around how you look and competing. And that's not easy to change your identity ultimately. But the answer was yes, I could be in shape, stay in shape year round, and have a life. I started to travel more. I started to spend more time with friends and family and build relationships. And I was like, wow, I've been missing out on all this stuff just to kind of compete. And I realized that I could go out and have a good time and have a bit more of a laugh and not take life so seriously. And I became so much happier. I started to smile more. I started to have more fun. I started to build more relationships. I started to feel more connected with myself, connected to others. And as a result, I actually made more progress. I never took my foot off the gas with my training, with my intensity, with my nutrition. I still ate incredibly well, but I followed the 90-10% rule. And 90% of the time I eat clean, I get my meals and I train hard. I still do to this day. But I gave myself that 10% of wiggle room, which is not easy. Because when you're a high achiever, it's so easy, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, to be extreme. It's so easy to go all in and weigh every single gram of food and track every single calorie and smash your training, steps, everything. But giving yourself that balance, that was the hardest part for me. But yeah, once I did, I was so much happier, and I started to continue to make more progress, but feeling more fulfilled. And when I was in that trap previously, when I was restricting and competing, I ran into many gut issues and hormone issues and health issues, and I just wasn't in the best headspace as a result. And through actually having more social connection in my life, which I now encourage all my clients to do, I was actually able to break through a lot of those health issues. Not only was I happier mentally, but I was healthier physically as well. And that is exactly what has led me to my mission today as a coach. Because when I was bodybuilding, when I was competing, I tried to give my clients bodybuilder meal plans, right? And a lot of them kind of fell off as a result because they didn't want to live the way I was doing, and rightly so. So through my own journey of realizing that that restriction to that extent will keep you in shape but not actually happy, this is why I will never let my clients make the same mistake. And my mission now is to help them to get in the best shape of their life and sure, level up their physique from a decent level to get in that extra edge, but teaching them how to be able to actually have a life in the process, how to go into any restaurant around the world and know how to stay on track, know what principles to follow with their nutrition, and know how to train incredibly well. They can adapt to any single gym they go in around the world and still have a life. They're able to have a drink here and there. They're able to have a meal here and there. It's that 90-10% rule. So that is exactly my journey and why it's led me to this point as a coach now, and my mission that comes from the bottom of my heart and is my absolute passion, and I feel like it's absolutely my life's purpose, is to help people get in shape without actually sacrificing theirs. Thanks for watching or listening to Made for More. If today's episode hit home, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who can relate and might be in the same shoes and needs to hear this. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, check the description below to book in a call and connect with me further. Catch you in the next episode.